Right now, someone you used to talk to every day is a stranger. They've stopped replying, they've left you on red, maybe they cut you off completely, and it physically hurt. A real bodily ache somewhere between your ribs. You've been told that ache is a metaphor, a figure of speech, something you should be able to think your way out of. It isn't, because there is a painkiller in your medicine cabinet right now that can dull a broken heart. Not the feeling of it, the actual pain of it. The same pill you take for a headache, and it only works because of a strange secret buried inside of your brain. When scientists put rejection under a scanner, they found something almost nobody expected. The part of your brain that screams when you break a bone is the same part that screams when someone leaves. Your heartbreak was never just emotional. It was physical the whole time, and once you understand why, you may never feel ashamed of it again. Let's start with the stakes. For 300,000 years, you do not survive alone. You couldn't. A single human cut off from the group was a dead man. No one to hunt with, no one to share food, no one to watch for predators while you slept. Exile wasn't a punishment. It was an execution with extra steps. So for your ancestors, the most dangerous thing in the world was not a leopard or a famine or a rival tribe. It was being left behind. Your ancestors lived in small bands, a few dozen people, sometimes fewer. Everyone you would ever rely on in a group you could see from a single hill. And evolution does not ignore the thing most likely to kill you. It builds alarm for it. Now here's the first strange thing. Look at the words we use for rejection. We say a breakup is crushing. We say an insult stings. We say our feelings are hurt, that our heart is broken, that a loss is painful. Every one of those words was borrowed from physical injury. And it isn't just English. Across widely different languages and cultures, humans describe rejection using the exact vocabulary of bodily pain. For a long time, scientists assumed that it was just poetry, a coincidence of language. It wasn't. The language was a clue. We just didn't have the tools to read it yet. Then, in 2003, a psychologist named Naomi Eisenberger at the University of California, Los Angeles decided to actually take a look. She put some volunteers inside a brain scanner and had them play a simple video game called Cyberball. Just a cartoon game of catch. 3 players, 1 ball, tossed back and forth on the screen. The volunteer believed that the other 2 players were real people in the rooms. They weren't. They were the computer. At first, everyone played normally. The ball went around, the volunteer was included, and then, without warning, the other 2 players stopped throwing them the ball. That's it. No insults, no threats, no words at all. Just a person quietly left out of a meaningless game by 2 strangers they would never even meet. It should have meant nothing, but inside the brain, something lit up. A region called the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. Remember that name because it matters. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex is one of the parts of the brain that processes physical pain. Specifically, the part that makes pain feel so distressing, the part that makes you want it to stop. And it was firing hard in people who simply been left out of a game of catch. Eisenberger found something even more precise. The more rejected a person said they felt, the more active that region was. The brain wasn't using just a metaphor. It was running social rejection through the same circuitry it uses for a broken bone. Her findings were published in the journal Science. The title of the paper asked the question outright: does rejection hurt? So why would your brain do that? Why route heartbreak through the hardware built for physical injury? The answer is the most efficient cruelty evolution ever designed. Building a brand new alarm system from scratch is expensive. It takes millions of years. So evolution rarely builds new things. It borrows old ones. Your ancestors already had that fully working alarm for physical danger. Pain. A system that screams stop, get away, protect yourself, the moment that body was threatened. And because it was being rejected by a group that was just as deadly as a wound, evolution did the lazy, brilliant thing. It wired social danger straight into the alarm that already existed. It didn't just build you a new warning for loneliness. It just plugged your loneliness into pain. So when someone leaves, your brain treats it in a way it would treat a blade. Not because you're weak, because for almost the entire history of your species, losing your people genuinely could kill you, and you can see exactly where the system came from. The first relationship any mammal ever has is with its mother. A newborn separated from her does not stay quiet. It cries out. That cry is one of the oldest signals in nature, and it runs on the same ancient pain circuitry. Long before there were breakups, or friendships, or tribes, there was a small animal that hurt when it was left out. You are still that animal. But here's where it gets stranger. If emotional pain and physical pain really do run on the same machine, then a drug that dulls one should dull the other. That sounds absurd. A pill for a headache easing the pain of a breakup. In 2010, a team led by a psychologist named Nathan DeWall decided to test exactly that. They took a group of healthy people and for 3 weeks gave half of them a daily dose of acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, the most common painkiller on earth. The other half got a placebo, a sugar pill. Every night, each person recorded how much social pain they had felt that day. The hurt feelings, the rejections, the small social wounds everyone collects. The people taking the real painkiller reported less of it, measurably less hurt, day after day, than the ones on the sugar pill. Then, the researchers put them back in the scanner, playing cyberball again, in the same regions that had screamed in Eisenberg's study, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the anterior insula, went quieter in the people who had been taking the painkiller. Read that again. A common headache pill, sitting in millions of medicine cabinets, measurably reduced the pain of being rejected. That is the secret hiding in your brain. Emotional pain isn't running alongside physical pain, it's running through it. And this is where it turns dark, because if a painkiller can quiet your own social pain, what else is it quieting? In 2016, researchers ran another experiment with the same drug. This time, they had people take acetaminophen, then read about others in pain. A person with a deep cut, someone grieving, a stranger being left out. The people on the painkiller felt less for them. They rated the other's pain as less severe. They cared measurably less. The same pill that numbs your own rejection also numbs your ability to feel someone else's. It doesn't just turn down your pain, it turns down your empathy. And acetaminophen is not rare. It's one of the most widely used medicines on the planet, taken billions of times a year for headaches, fevers, aching backs, which means every single day, an enormous amount of people are quietly turning down a signal they don't even know that they have, dulling not just their aches, but a small piece of how they really feel for each other. So let's go back to that ache behind your ribs, the one you were told to get over, to stop being so sensitive about. Here's the part that should change how you see it. That pain was never malfunction, it was never weakness. A brain that felt nothing when it was abandoned would be the broken one, because for a creature that only survived inside a group, indifference to rejection would have been a death sentence. The ones who felt the sting chased the connection. They stayed close, they repaired things, they survived, and they passed that sting down to you. Every ancestor in your line felt this. Every one of them lost someone and kept going. The ache is part of the inheritance. Your capacity to be hurt by someone is the same instrument that lets you love them in the first place. You cannot have one without the other. The ache isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof the system still works. So tonight when you think about the person who left, and you feel that pull, that hollow, that quiet ache that won't fully explain itself, remember what's actually happening underneath it. It isn't drama. It isn't fragility. It's a 300,000-year-old alarm doing the exact job it was built to do, telling you that you've lost one of your people, the way that it told your ancestors when they were in danger. And here's the strangest part of it all. You could turn it off. There is a pill in your cabinet that would quiet it, that would make the whole thing hurt a little less. Millions of people reach for it every day, never knowing what else it dims. But maybe that ache was never your enemy. Maybe it's the last honest thing your body has to say, that you are built to belong to someone, and some part of you still refuses to stop reaching for them.